I'd like to call to order this meeting of the St. Augustine Port Waterway and Beach District, November 19th, 2024. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next is invocation. Would anyone like to offer an invocation? Tom?
Okay. I hope you don't mind to move one seat over. That'd be
Welcome.
a little better for me to hear. Okay, let us pray. We ask God to invoke His blessings on our meeting. Let us come to very important conclusions that will help bring safety to our waterways and our rivers and beaches. We ask this in Christ's name. Amen.
Roll call.
Commissioner Rivers? Tom? Here.
Here.
Commissioner Brown?
Here.
Commissioner Bender?
Here.
Commissioner Flowers? Here.
Great. Our next item is swearing in of the commissioners-elect. Was there going to be, for photo purposes, a separate swearing in? Was that the...
Yeah, I was thinking I would do alphabetically Commissioner Bender followed by Commissioner Flowers. Either commissioner may stand or sit as they wish during it, and anyone from the audience, if they would like, to get a good angle for a photo, may do so as well.
Yeah, and if we need to move out of your way, let us know, too. I'm happy to do it. So, yeah, let's proceed.
All right.
I'm going to start with Commissioner
I'll start
Bender.
with Commissioner Bender. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear or affirm
I do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support,
Protect and defend.
protect, and defend
the Constitution and government
the Constitution and government
of the United States
of the United States
and of the state of Florida,
and of the state of Florida.
that I am duly qualified
I am duly qualified
to hold office under the Constitution,
To hold office.
to hold
to hold
office
office under the Constitution
of the state,
of the state,
and that I will well
and I will dwell
and faithfully perform
and faithfully perform
the duties of Commissioner of the St. Augustine Port Waterway and Beach District,
The duties of Commissioner.
duties of the Commissioner of the St. Augustine Port, Waterway, and Beach District,
on which I am now about to enter.
on which I am now about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Good.
And Commissioner Flowers as well, you may sit or stand as you desire. Please raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear or affirm
I do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution and government
the Constitution and government
of the United States
of the United States
and of the state of Florida,
and of the state of Florida,
that I am duly qualified
that I'm duly qualified
to hold office under
to hold office under
the Constitution of the state,
the Constitution of the state,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will very well and faithfully
perform the duties
perform the duties of
Commissioner of the St. Augustine Port Waterway and Beach District
the duties of as Commissioner of the St. Augustine Port, Waterway, and Beach District,
on which I am now about to enter.
on which I am now about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, both of you. Next item is adoption and approval of agenda. Any modifications to the agenda as written? I'm hearing nothing. Do I have a motion to approve?
I move approval of the.
There's a motion. Second. There's a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Public comment. Members of the public? No. Government representative comments. There's quite a few of you today. Who wants to go first?
I've got nothing.
Nothing. All right. Easy peasy. Next is Secretary Treasurer's report.
The city police law enforcement overtime, we haven't paid anything out as of yet. The St. Johns County Sheriff's overtime, we've paid out $26.96 of the $25,000 budgeted. The fire department, we haven't, this is the first month, for the new fiscal year, so not a lot has been paid out, really. The amount, Florida State Board of Administration Fund Day, we have $26,016 in it. In the operating account, we have $694,765, and in the money market account, 1.3. Budgeted $930,766 for the new fiscal year for revenue. We've received $13,800 to date, and we're expecting $927. We did just receive another $33,000 though, after this has already been produced.
Okay. Great. Any questions on the Secretary Treasurer's report?
I have a question, please. Elise, could you just tell me, what's the thermal camera for St. Johns County?
That was a thermal camera and also radar package that was
Boats for the,
for their command post that they use for offshore rescue operations.
okay, so that's already been purchased?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so
It's already purchased and installed.
so that means you can see at night?
Yes, ma'am.
Next item is approval of minutes from the October 15th, 2024 regular meeting. Any modifications to those minutes? Nothing? Motion to approve them as written then?
So moved.
So moved. Second? There's a second. All in favor? Aye. Great. No engineering business today, which brings us to old business, consideration of website modifications. This is my item. As we recall, there was some confusion about ADA compliance with our website. I spoke with Jennifer at Avid. She did an audit of it herself and installed a couple of free widgets that she said should ameliorate the vast majority of the concerns that had been raised by this independent group. She confirmed our suspicion that this group is just fishing for consulting money and that the kind of huge number of concerns that they raised were not legitimate. But she also said that if any actual legitimate complaints ever come in, there are additional things that she can add to the website that just will cost money on an ongoing basis, but that she recommended not pursuing those unless we actually got a legitimate complaint, because the way those, it's not as though someone could just immediately sue us for a lack of ADA compliance. There's a notice and an opportunity to rectify back and forth that happens over the course of many months. And so she said we are within substantial compliance at this point already, but that any additional work that needed to be done we could consider, as the case arises, or if the case ever arises, which in her experience it will not. That's all I have for that, though. So that brings us to new business, which is the municipal marina repair grant application. Corey Sackard and Eric Malden.
Might not do it full screen. Go where?
From the.
Up there, now it wants to work. Same button. Hey, good evening, Commissioners. Eric Malden, Harbor-Master of the City of St. Augustine. Last month, we briefed you about this grant application. We're back here again formally to defend the grant. Welcome, re-elect Commissioners Sandy and Commissioner Blender. So the past two hurricanes, Hurricane Helene and Milton, The municipal marina sustained damage along with the Lighthouse Park boat ramp. Through the slides, I'm going to kind of give you a brief little summary. St. Augustine Municipal Marina is located on the Atlantic Intercoastal Waterway, just south of the historic Bridge Alliance. The marina is within 1 nautical mile of the St. Augustine Inlet, serves as a principal inlet for the city of St. Augustine, all of St. Johns County, and adjacent waterways. You can also see in that picture there, at the top of each of our ramps, we recognize, find, and the Port District from past dock repairs and future dock repairs. The marina provides deep water fueling services, free sewage pump out, potable water. We have 7 commercial vendors, a private water taxi, thousands of recreational and commercial boaters, city fire, 4 law enforcement vessels. It's Sheriff's Office, FWC, and City PD. American Cruise Lines every winter and spring. Our Spanish tall ship, as you can see, that's in port now. The marina also provides free battery and waste oil disposal, garbage disposal, host of boating clubs, dockage for local fishing tournaments, some long-term vessels, and thousands of transient vessels annually, up to 200 feet. Just this past month, our transient season is in full force. We've had already over 600 reservations this month, with expected about another 400 this month. So it's been a very busy season. During Hurricane Helene in September, this one took us a little bit by surprise with how strong the winds really were. We saw winds 50 miles an hour sustained out of the south and gusting to 70 miles an hour for up to 5 hours during that storm. This is taken from our weather station at the marina. And then Hurricane Milton, opposite direction, out of the north, which is more severe. The winds were a little bit less, but out of that direction, it's a lot more severe damage. North 50 miles an hour with gust 60 for 5 hours. Here's a video. Show you some of the conditions here. You can see how much that wave action moves this breakwater dock. As you can see, it's still providing that protection to the vessels that are still in the marina. There's one more right after sunrise. You can kind of get a better idea of some of the damages. We had already secured some of the areas, but this gives you a little better look of what we were dealing with.
How did those new, on the...
Pilings?
Yeah, the new
all
pilings
the
on
pilings,
the
they did their
breakwater.
job. They flexed and came back with all the weather, so they were not damaged at all. And they also prevented any of those Unifloat concrete floats, the new ones that we just installed past spring, from being damaged. A lot of the damage you can see is to our finger piers and the wood structure that holds the concrete together.
Did we lose docks off the breakwater dock too?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Oops, sorry. I'll show you that here. So this map kind of shows you the area that's circled in green was repairs from the Hurricane Ian and Nicole that were completed this past spring from the 2022 storms. Concrete unifloats, new steel, larger pilings, and some other wood structural members that we did along the breakwater dock. All of that investment survived this storm. This storm, unfortunately, just hurt other areas. As you can see, the areas that are in the orange with the wood, and then the finger piers marked in red, all of those are damaged. They kind of hit a different area of the marina. And this is major, substantial damage. There's other areas where the docks were loosened and tightened up and other materials, but this is the substantial damage that we had. There's some more images of it. You can see how much action that breakwater dock takes. And that snaking wave action along the dock broke some of those wood members along the breakwater dock. Some of that wood was brand new from when we replaced the pilings and the uni-floats, but a majority of it was still some of the original wood from prior. You can see how some pilings with pile guides where the finger pier used to be, and then once they break free, they flip upside down. Then as they break free too, they also collide with other areas of the marina, causing more damage. So we were able to secure them fairly quickly. There's one at the end of the finger piers. And once that concrete's broken, there's no patching of it. It's got to be a full replacement. Some other loose areas and brackets that were broken. This kind of shows you a before and after. On the left there, those brighter floats, those are new concrete floats that we had installed from the 2022 storms. So that finger pier was actually attached to the dock, so there was no lack of maintenance or anything. It had recently been tightened up and secured to the dock, but yet this storm just tore it right away. Other areas, there's 4 finger piers total on the breakwater dock here. So that kind of concludes the damage at the municipal marina. We also sustained damage at the public boat ramp. Go over that. So as you guys are familiar with Lighthouse Park Boat Ramp, it's the only city-owned boat ramp. It's with also the same as the municipal marina within 1 nautical mile of the inlet. Boat ramp allows for access to over 17,000 registered vessels. That was as of 2023. It has a youth sailing center, which has an enduring community commitment with a 99-year lease with the St. Augustine Yacht Club and the City of St. Augustine, which is adjacent to the boat ramp, or that organization to provide quick and safe access to the waterway to teach the youth how to sail. As you guys know, they use that boat ramp quite often during the summertime. Boat ramp also allows for access to local waterways, numerous recreational boats, kayaks, paddleboards, charter fishing guides, commercial marine contractors, a site to offload and unload their heavy equipment. And over the years, City of St. Augustine has also used Lighthouse Park to remove derelict vessels from the waterway. The dock itself provides a safe, secure area for temporary tie-up your vessel to launch in and out of the water. You can see from the picture some of the various activities this dock is used for. The lines that are in red are the damaged areas. This dock is fairly simple damage. It's the through rods and wood only. The concrete and the pilings and guides are still okay. So this will be a pretty simple repair. See some of the rods that are sticking out. We've since cut off the damaged ones or removed some of the damaged rods out of the way so that the public can still access it safely. And we go over there and monitor, make sure things haven't changed. During normal conditions, it's hard to tell that the wood is actually broken because there's nothing moving, so it's just stationary. But during weather, you can actually see that wood flex in the broken areas. Project cost. So our grant application is for $250,000. That's going to cover Hurricane Helene and Milton. We have no FEMA assistance for Hurricane Helene. We have about roughly just under $80,000 of damages from Helene. And then there's Hurricane Milton. We believe we may be qualified for FEMA. We meet with them tomorrow, but at this point we're unsure if we qualify for Cat G funding for permanent work. So the only work that is covered by them is the emergency at this point. The dock itself is over $1.1 million for the structural wood and finger piers. Lighthouse boat ramp is $160,000. We also have mitigation options that we're proposing in FEMA with the scope of work to try and prevent some of this damage from happening again. That's larger wood whalers along the sides, steel inserts to strengthen the dock, a few pilings in some areas there where the finger piers didn't have pilings to keep it better secured. So our totals between the two projects and the two storms is a little over $2 million. So they were asking for $250,000 for the port.
if FEMA does end up reimbursing you for part, what do you, how much do you anticipate them?
Yeah, so FEMA will do 75% of the project. The state does 12.5%, and then the city is obligated to the other 12.5%. You can kind of see a brief little breakdown there. The grant funds initially will be to start the project, go ahead and go out to bid, and initiate our contractor to go ahead and mobilize so we can go ahead and start and conduct these repairs before we have to actually wait for FEMA funding, which can take a little bit of time. Also, too, you can see FIND has already approved $500,000 towards this job last month as well.
So FIND actually has do we have, you're applying for 2 projects in 1 application, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I had asked for the application, the grant application earlier, but I didn't receive it. So we actually have a signed grant application as is required. It's on our website. Because I'm looking, and here's why, this is just why I asked. Our grant application, which you can't even speak to FIND if you haven't filled and signed that application according to them, but it includes all of this application data, the cost sharing data, who will manage the project, has the district provided provisions before? These are just some questions that aren't on here that need to be provided on the application. And a big one is, will the project be insured? Could a completed project share revenue to pay back what the taxpayer? All of this is on an actual grant application on our website. So did we get an application for this project?
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
they completed an application.
Okay,
They
I
can-
asked for that and did not get it.
Was it on the website?
I didn't see it, again, I asked for that through records, an application for this project. I think probably it should be,
They might have sent it over, did they send it over on the email? Did you guys?
it could be the same one they gave to FIND is fine.
It's a port application.
Okay, because,
Did you send me?
It was in the attachment, I think, was it?
Yeah, we all got it as an email prior to the previous meeting.
right. Because, I mean, it's a project, summary includes when's it going to start and when's it going to end. I'd also like to ask questions, Elise. As you know, we had issues before with grant money going out. And before the project was ever done, like the grant money for the kayak launch in Lincolnville sat in the city's coffer for years and years and years, earning interest. And you had said at that point, we don't give our grant money out to the project's completed. So how is it going to work now? How are we going to keep a track of when that's over, starts, when it ends? Are we going to get inspection reports? Because other interlocal agreements, even with FIND, you can't receive the last payment until certain conditions are made, like inspection reports, and the records for that project have to come back to us. Currently, if I've wanted records for city projects, I had to personally pay out of out of my pocket to get those records. So at very minimum, our interlocal agreement needs to be with the city that we get those records and we possess them, so we don't have to, when people want them, we don't have to pay the city for them. We would literally have to pay the city to get our own records back. So that's, if we have an application for this, I would really like to have it. And if it includes 2 projects in 1 application, have the questions about the insurance been answered? When it's going to start, when it's supposed to be completed?
Yep, they were answered on the application.
Okay.
Do we have any other discussion on this or any other questions for the applicants?
I'd like to have those, if we're going to vote today, I need to have those answers. Is it going to be insured?
The docs, no, ma'am. They're not able to be insured.
Okay. Why are they not able to be insured? Because I heard a different thing from Carl Blow last time. Carl, you here? You said y'all decided not to insure them. That it was not cost effective. Nobody's ever said they're not able to be insured. Because I say this because the city, this is an enterprise fund competing directly with other marinas, private marinas. And we just come back to the port when something breaks instead of insuring it.
Carl Blow, Florida Inland Navigation District. I'm in the commercial property management business, and right now we have an insurance crisis. I'm having trouble getting casualty insurance on an existing restaurant building. It used to be I could call my agent they give me a quote, and it's a
Right.
done deal. I've worked with 2 different agents for the last 60-plus days, and I still don't have a quote. And so to address the insurance issue, I mean, I can't get a restaurant building in Jacksonville, Florida, insured today. At least I haven't been able to get it. I can tell you, getting a dock insured, I
You
don't
insured my private dock.
know.
We've got private docks insured, and it's an Airbnb.
Yeah,
So, I
well,
mean,
keep
I-
it, keep it. Pay, if
Believe me,
they
we
renew
will.
it,
But
pay
my
that
question is,
premium.
have we tried to get the,
Well,
are we just
I just
assuming
brought
that's the
that- I
case?
just brought that up because
Right.
it hit home.
Right.
I'm.
And the reason I say you
the
guys,
insurance industry,
yeah.
because of these storms we've had this
Right.
year, it's like I'll give this advice to everybody. If your homeowner's insurance renews, pay them. You know, don't mess around. If you can keep your policy, keep it, because
But we've never tried, though. Like I said, the docks have
Oh,
never been
you
assured
won't-
according to
I
you.
just wanted to pass that on to you. The reason I came today is just to brief you guys on what Fine did with their application.
I understand.
And-
I'm just saying, I've spoken to many constituents since my last term, and when they found out that we were spending money to rebuild the marina over and over, simply because they weren't insured, people are upset with that. Because you have to understand, there's a lot of people in this district are not, do not live in the city of St. Augustine, would never even have a chance of using the marina, and they were upset that we did not insure the projects. Does anybody else have any issues with our grants not being insured, or is that just me?
No, I think that's just you.
And the constituents, of course, I speak to, Mr. Brown. So the answer is then that we just haven't tried, or
Well, like I
have we
say,
tried and we've been told no, Eric?
We have liability insurance on
Yeah.
that, but that's
But if they break, any project we build, we just have to rebuild.
unfortunately we break in different areas.
yeah, we got a crisis in the state of
Has
Florida.
anybody ever checked to see if it's even legal for us to fund a project that is uninsured?
I think there's a lot of
As a
projects,
state special district?
a lot of governments do self-insurance, is
I
basically.
know, I'd just rather do a little more than I think. We're a state special district, and we have to follow all of the rules at any state agency. So has anybody ever checked to see if our funded projects need any kind of insurance?
Well, I'll tell
Me?
you what,
Maybe Mr. Meek could check for
wanna-
us.
the best thing to do would be to start out with, we've got some great insurance, independent agents here in the city. You can call, this is what I do, is you call them up and ask them to see what's available. And,
Well, I think the first thing, maybe we should see if it's required by state law that we insure projects that we fund.
that would be,
If it's not required,
Clear, this would not be a district project. This is a grant application. This is a city project, not a district project. And
yes, sir, that's why the question is on our funding application.
Flowers, do not cut me off. And that we would stand largely in the same shoes as Find, which approved their grant application on the same footing as to insurance as it is coming to the commission here today.
Mr. Blow has just admitted that he has no idea if the law requires the funding to be insured. So we don't know, and apparently you're not interested. Don't worry, I'll make sure we get that answered before the next meeting.
okay. Well, I just want to let you know what Fine did with their grant application. Basically, we provided a potential of $459,895 for the work in the city marina, and I think it was $40,105 for the work at the Lighthouse Park floating dock. And this is not the first time the city has come to us with hurricane disaster grant requests. I guess it's been twice, maybe, that they've come to us, and we've provided grant funding, and we haven't had any difficulty with the city. In fact, what's happened in the past, I don't know if they're going to get this lucky this time, but they actually rebated money. In other words, they got money from FEMA, and they actually sent us some money back.
Right, I saw that in the last thing. That would be great to get some of
Yeah.
the money back. But again, it's not that, it's our, and I've spoken to thousands. People are very concerned that any agency would handle business in a way they wouldn't do personally, and nobody would do this with their home.
Yeah.
You know, spend a lot of money for a project and just have to rebuild it.
Yeah, well,
Without-
As was already alluded to, public infrastructure is very rarely privately insured. It is almost always
And why is
self-insured.
our funding application have it there if it's not important for us?
Because we also provide funds for private projects sometimes too, or projects that do carry insurance.
I think this was for, it very specifically says for find projects that we are accompanying them with funding, and for large projects, which $250,000. And just to make it very clear, I'm a big supporter of the city marina. This city is almost nothing without it. But you got a lot of taxpayers that are upset that we're.
What I find interesting about not to interrupt you, about that's a total, there's no tax dollars that actually, you know, on the day in, day out operational situation, the city pays, or the marina pays for itself, which is, you know, a good thing.
It should, yeah, it's an enterprise fund.
It's an enterprise fund. So, so in this case, you guys have blown through your reserves, right?
Reserves from the previous storm.
Yeah, see, what's happened is they had reserves, but the storms, we had so many storms, it's wiped out the reserves. That's when they first started coming to us for funding assistance. But anyway, I just didn't want to take too much time. I just want to let you know that at our last, that was our October meeting, we actually kind of did an emergency. We added them to our agenda under an emergency, and actually we didn't get the neat and cool videos that you guys got to see, but my board approved it unanimously, and so just want to let you know what happened, and if you have any questions for me.
Great, thank you, Carl. Any other?
Oh, and congratulations, Commissioner Binder. And
Thank you.
Commissioner Flowers.
Any other commentary on that?
I'd just like to have a copy of the grant application if I could.
Great. Is there a motion to approve the application?
So moved.
There's a motion?
Second.
Second. Any additional discussion? No? All in favor? Aye. Great. Thank you, fellas. Next up is public comment, 5 minutes per individual. Nope. Comments by commissioners. Tom, anything?
I think that at the next meeting, that you should add at least the election of officers.
Yep, I was going to say the same thing.
That's it.
Great. Nick, any comment?
No.
Sandy?
No.
Great. Our next meeting is December the 17th. There being no other business, this meeting is adjourned.